We are complicit because we don't know any better. We are held in the dark. We have darkness being painted for us as light, and we're all like moths being attracted to that light because that's the collective story we're being told. If you have a nation who has its media, whether it is in print or television or journalism, which is controlled by a common theme, then you only hear one voice. And those who offer a different point of voice, if they're different from the rest of the group, then they're kind of like the individual in the elevator looking the wrong way. And that's a conspiracy. You're either crazy, you are making things up, and that's not what we believe. But as a society, we all once believed that the world was flat. And that was the status quo. And Christopher Columbus was looked at as could have been called conspiratorial, but like he ostracized from the society as a whole because he held beliefs that the rest of the population did not hold to be true. And that's what's going on right now. The beliefs we hold to be true are being sold to us in our media and outlets and across the nation under a singular voice owned by the very same people that actually are seeking to move us in this direction. And those of us who can see through this nonsense and can see the truth, and you can see the stepwise progression of what they're doing. We're standing we're looking the wrong way in the elevator. We're looking the right way, but the rest of our citizenry are being held up into this gauntlet of looking backwards, and we've got to help change them around. And the conspiracy here is real. It's called capitalism. And it's called capitalism without restraint. Not that capitalism is bad, but there's no satiation. It's never happy. It can never get enough. And unfortunately, those seeking to do it are the trillion-dollar corporations. And the average citizen in Canada, we're left here as a society scrambling for crumbs, looking for help, looking for support. Poverty is rampant. The older people in our community have no services. Our pension plans are being eroded. Our country is being bought and sold on chopping blocks. Our Parliament Hill is like a five-star hotel. It's for stakeholders and shareholders, and Canadian people are no longer there. This is a concern, and they don't know. So call us conspiracy theorists. It's the truth, and you can see the truth. And I'll stand, and I look for anyone else to stand. I'll stand behind people who see the truth, because the truth is there for you to find. If you're too busy scrambling around trying to hold your life together, pay your bills, pay your taxes, take care of your family, work for a job that puts food on the table and pays your mortgages, then you have no time to go look at this. Some of us have said, look, we see a problem here. And once you're outside that box of the propaganda they give you, you can't plug yourself back in. You can't pretend it does not exist. And then the more and more you see, the more and more you can see through the lines of, oh, here's a new news story, what's happening. Well, you can see that little node in the progression to where it's going to go, and you can chart it like a regression line. And society doesn't see that regression line. But it's not conspiracy. It's a plan. And it's a belligerent plan to seek to enslave nations under someone's global scheme of a totalitarian government, that we all work for one great new world order. Who's the king? Who's the pharaoh? And as citizens, we're stomping straw for this pharaoh, not knowing who they are, and we're paying taxes to them, and they're using our own taxes to go fight us. We need to wake up, because our country is being lost daily, and there's not going to be a Canada left in the decade to come. This idea of a globalization or a global totalitarian political scheme where the masses are regulated and controlled by the few is nothing new in society. It goes back millennia. This has been a common theme of those who seek to profit us and to oppress us and to hold us in checks and balances. That this whole idea has been tried repetitively. But a new world order, from what I'm referring to, goes back to the whole idea of what's going on right now. You have three primary groups that have been working on this for some time, more pronounced since the Second World War, but there are three key groups involved, and this is the Council on Foreign Relations in the United States. Its equivalent, or its sister arm in Canada, is the Canadian Council of Chief Executives, which is about 150 executives of corporations which control over $3 trillion in assets in Canada. The Trilateral Commission, which is by and large looking for this world integration. And the Bilderberger Group, which also coming out from the Second World War, which is a group of individuals who see this whole new role for society, building this global elite of integrating all of the countries together under one global single parliamentary command, which is frightening. The reason why we switched to democracy in the history of politics, the controls of nations, was because we found that the kingships and the lordships and the feudalist states were corrupt. And you have individuals who are profiteering and basically making the whole population dumpster off of Pharaoh, whether they recognize it or not. And that's what's going on right now in many sectors across Canada. So a new world order is being sold to the populace as being something that's good for us, for our own security and our own prosperity. It's not been voted on. Public are not even aware it's going on. But it's all part of these steps of changing the laws of the land, where you have regulatory bodies and corporations dictating what happens in nations. And we end up losing our nationhood and our sovereignty, which is quite frightening. Nation states have their own personage and their own identity and their own rules and regulations that we as Canadians deem certain features of our society, whether it's in our social programs, whether it's in our Constitution, whether it's in our Charter and Rights and Freedoms, the laws that regulate our land, our energy, our control of the infrastructure of our state, what our collective hue or flavor is as a nation of collective individuals as a whole. Every nation is different, and that is partly defines you as a nation, and it makes your individuality in your own country for your country. That's why we have borders here. Our group of individuals in this nation believe these things to be true, and that makes the things that happen to define that nation as a collective entity is a produce of the individual collective will and ideas of the individuals of that state as a collective majority. But when you just basically railroad all of that, the individuals that self-define themselves as a group, as a mosaic of individuals in that group, this is our nation, and this is what we believe, and this is what we hold to be valued in our society as a whole. When you supersede that across multiple borders, whether it's Canada, United States, Mexico, South America, Europe, Asia, you erase that individual identity. And it's kind of like being indoctrinated as a military recruit, that they bring you into the military, they strip you of your clothes, they shave off your hair, they put you in a uniform, and now you're marching to the same drum. And you're propagandized, you change your identity into being conformist to what the greater group is that you're being a part to. Because as soon as we merge into a global economy, or we call it deep economic integration right now, and pray to heaven forbid, a singular currency called an Amero, equivalent to the European Union, what they have over there, then we're lost. We'll never be able to get this back. In generations to come, we'll never be able to reclaim which is rightfully Canadian. And so if you have the resources, and if private banks are willing to lend money to our government to fund our infrastructure or to pay for social programs, then they're lending it to us on the behest that, they realize as a country, a nation, we work well and we have a good credit. Well, then that same good credit is our bank can say, for our own bank, we will lend you the money and you can pay back yourselves. People in the United States have tried this before. Abraham Lincoln did it with the greenback, and John F. Kennedy tried to go that way as well. But those who control the monetary system, the Rothschild dynasty, if you will, the kingpins of the international banking, they recognize this. And Amschel Rothschild, he said, let me control the issuance of currency and credit of the nations, and I don't care who you put in power, because they know, control the money, you control the nation. And in society, we're not aware of this. But this is all part of this whole globalization scheme that's happening right now. If you control the money of the world, you can put a run on any bank. You can even go into the gambling strips, and you can even go into the banking in Hong Kong, Macau. If you want, if you have all the money, you can control the rest of the economy. It's kind of like banging the side of a plane and causing a reverberation down that plane, that you know where the reverberation is going to go. But if you want to control countries and economies, and if you want to be able to manipulate them to your own advantage down the road here, then you can create crises, whether it is the price of gas, whether it is the price of rice, whether it is the price of food, whether it is the housing, whether it is the interest rates. You create fear, and you create desperate need of those you are trying to bring towards your little end pen there. And so when you drop the economies, and you steal billions of dollars like a bunch of thieves from countries right before their very eyes, and all of a sudden the economies are crashing, and people are now more open. We need help. And so those who want to help us are those who are putting us in the need to need their help, and when we go reach for that help, it's basically taking the next step into that next pen or the moving us forward.